Our story begins with a view of a laboratory. Inside, someone is running and suddenly kicks the door open. The leader of the hunters, Mr. Hong Xiaokaoeng, enters, and one of the hunters says, "There are children here." The glass shatters, and we see Rose, a child staring intently at the hunter. He says, "Kids, are you okay? You can come out now." While Mr. Xiaokaoeng smiles, the others are organizing the children, picking them up to take them outside. "Are you hurt anywhere, kid?" he asks, picking the boy up while observing the situation in the background. The hunters and the police are arresting the scientists from the lab. This child doesn't seem normal because, as he stares at the doctor who did this to him, he thinks about how he can make him angry. "What's your name, kid?" the hunter asks. "My name is number 12. "Is that really your name?" Then he gently puts the child down and starts kicking the lab doctor, shouting, "You son of a bitch, bastard." He begins to pummel the guy with an overwhelming power that no one can ignore. Hunter Hong, "Inspector, what brings you here?" asks one of the hunters. "I knew you would do something like this again. Let him go now," the inspector responds. Then he throws the guy to the ground. "I appreciate your help, but it's hard with you helping in this manner. Are you his boss?" "No, but I scold him when he does something wrong." "That's not being a boss." The lab chief always scolded the other doctors. "He hated us. But you can be sure this man is going to get scolded. You don't seem very strong. Are you a hunter too?" "I'm not as strong as they are, but you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. There are many other ways to reprimand a person without resorting to violence, like this guy did. So, what do I have to do to become like you? You need to study hard, pass the national exam, and then work hard to become a corporate leader." And so, our protagonist decides the path of his life. 19 years later, on May 31st, 2044, at the Skills Management Agency, Dungeon 2 in Yeondongpo and Dungeon 1 in Inwang received threat level 2. We see someone leaning on a table, stretching, while the others aren't paying attention to the meeting. Our protagonist thinks, these idiots don't even try to improve. Listen up. Even though you're rank B and C, the interior is unstable, so the threat level might rise. Okay? Team 2 will be in charge of the rank B dungeon. Any objections? No. Team 1, you'll take the rank C dungeon. Teams 3 and 4, you'll rest because you recently went to the dungeon. Your equipment is ready. Check if anything is missing until entry time at 2 p.m. Any questions? No. Then have lunch and wait for your mission time. That's all for today. The group leaves, talking about being hungry, but one hunter remains in the meeting room. "What happened?" Hunter Yujia. "About that dungeon I told you about." "Bangi dong. It's just a rank D6 dungeon. You know the agency only sends people when it reaches threat level 2, right? But I have a bad feeling about it. If you went to dungeons based on your feelings, the media would have destroyed us by now. We shouldn't abuse our power just because you're a rank as hunter. Abuse of power is what you're doing. Nipo baby." Nipo baby, for those who don't know, is when you enter a career where your parents are already successful. Have you ever seen a more capable and skilled Nipo baby than me? No, because I would have fired you long ago if you weren't good. If a hunter like you attacks a civilian like me, it will be terrible for you. But I'm serious. I have a bad feeling about that dungeon. Good for you, but I'm off duty now, so don't contact me. "Ah, but you won't be able to contact me even if you're inside the dungeon." "Ah, that's great. What did you say? You bastard." Let's call our protagonist Wu Hui now. 2 days later, in Busan. Look at this watch, the one that was in the news. This work of art was created by the Korean government and the Magic Research Laboratory. It's still in the testing phase, so there are only 2 in the world. Wow, you must be a very important hunter. I have a license, but I'm not a hunter. I work at the Skills Management Agency, which makes life easier for hunters. I'm directly affiliated with the agency director. You mean that person, the nation's best hunter, Xiaokawa? It's a bit embarrassing to say, but he's my father. Your father? My adoptive father. I was in an accident when I lost my parents, and this agency director saved me and adopted me. I worked hard to repay him, and now I work for him. Don't think I'm completely a Nipo baby. I worked hard for this position. Of course, your father is well known for being fair. That's a lie. Well, I'm not 100% a Nipo baby, but I did use the fact that I have a license to my advantage. But tell me, why did you come here today? Asked one of the people present. I took a day off to celebrate my promotion. I wasn't going to come, but they kicked me out of work because I never took a day off. It's not good to work all the time like that. For example, we're on a break too. Oh, really? Am I bothering you? No, of course not. You showed us something really cool. Can we see it again? He shows the watch he was talking about earlier. One of only 2 in the world. What's its name again? Exclusive miniature multimodal communication device for hunters. But we just call it a mana watch. Oh, it's not just a watch. Right, show us. It recognizes your mana patterns, so only the owner can use it. Hold on, let me show you. A hologram comes out of the watch, like a little screen. That's so cool. You can see the dungeon news. Hey, Hui, are you seeing this? There's a dungeon with a rising threat level. They see a D-ranked dungeon's threat level going from 1 to 2. A C-ranked dungeon is at level 2, and an O-ranked dungeon is at level free. An urgent alert pops up for him. What? Dungeon destruction. Where? How? Someone calls on the protagonist's phone. Bad news. I saw. Bangi Dong. Right. I don't think anything will happen since it's a D-rank dungeon, but there's a high concentration of people in the area. It's not a D-rank dungeon. Half the district was destroyed as soon as it came out. Oh, I'm sorry. What? The director is heading there urgently with the available adventurers. Wait, calm down. I'm on my way. Send the helicopter. In the next scene, Hwee is already in the helicopter heading to the dungeon. Half a district destroyed. That's ridiculous, but I think everything will be fine. The director is heading there. I came here during my break. Wait, why is my mana watch shutting down? The pilot says, Sir, there are things below us. Aren't those monsters? Several monsters have been released from this dungeon and are roaming the district streets. Hwee starts receiving a bunch of alerts, emergency warnings, saying that all the dungeons in the country broke at the same time, releasing all the monsters. Breaking news announces that the dungeon break phenomenon isn't only happening in Korea, but worldwide. The current status of the hunters fighting these dungeons is still unconfirmed, as is the whereabouts of Seokgaewon. Anyway, I won't be able to return to Busan now. There are no flying monsters around here. Let's look for any survivors. Right, boss. Let's get the survivors and take them to the agency. We see Hwee fighting a monster. He's not a fighter, but he's handling it. He grabs a piece of wood and thrusts it into the monster's mouth. But the scene is complete chaos. The entire district is in ruins. Damn it, watch. Open up and tell me Seokgaewon's vital signs can't be found. Are you saying he's dead? The greatest and strongest hunter in Korea is dead? No, that's impossible. The future I wanted was very simple. Leave the boring and uncomfortable tasks to others and live a comfortable life. To achieve that, I battled and faced many difficulties along the way. I need someone to help me. That's why I need to find new survivors. I need to find someone. Then he hears a scream and turns around. Aunt, I told you not to call me Aunt. Does it matter now? Look at you. Do you know what happened? All I know is that the centipede that escaped the dungeon did all this. Hwee grabs a potion to rescue her. You know this is centipede venom, right? This potion won't work. I'm not sure, so I'll apply it and hope it works. You idiot. I told you this dungeon needed people. Why did you ignore my hunter instinct? Huh. You talk as if there aren't more reliable things than your hunter instinct, right? You're not wrong. Anyway, I can't fight anymore now. What do you mean by that? Take this. She hands him his father's ID. I brought this just by coincidence. Good thing I did. Look at this situation. Anyway, you're his son. You need to give him a proper funeral, at least. I'm not even his real son. How can you say that? You're his only son. You have to give him a proper funeral, at least. Well, I'm not giving you a funeral either, so don't die. You idiot. Why do you always have to say that? Please, don't die. You talk as if I can control that, right? I'm amazed I survived this long. Hey, Hwee, remember when we used to walk around together? You used to call me Big Sis. Why are you bringing this up now? You were so cute back then, but now that you've grown up, you've become so rude. You know, just shut up, Aunt. I'm sure I have more potions here. Please, just stop talking and rest. My sword is right here. I can call you Big Sis again. Please, just be quiet. I know you learned to use a spear because of your dad and all, but take my sword. It's a good sword. It will keep you alive. And she passed on. The protagonist closes her eyes. How am I supposed to survive here if neither you nor dad could? I hate this kind of thing. When he returns to the agency, it's completely destroyed, and there's the giant centipede. I should have realized that being a hunter means not even your body remains after you die. Are you telling me all these hunters exhausted themselves and died because of this centipede? The most powerful hunter really died, but all he left behind was his ID. What am I supposed to do now? Keep looking for survivors. And if I find one, what do I do? Where do I take them to start? Is there any survivor? It looks like he uses a skill on his sword. Damn it, damn it. He strikes the centipede with his skill, but suddenly it just disappears. What? Where's the centipede corpse that was right in front of me? All that's left is a small alarm clock. This was inside it. I've never heard of items inside monsters. Is this a watch? Authorization check for procedure implementation postponed. Initiating emergency procedure. What kind of item is this? Is it artificial intelligence? Would you like to change the date? What are you talking about? Rebooting. Initiating auto sequence. Would you like to execute now? A moment ago you asked if I wanted to change the date. Now you're asking if I want to execute something. Would you like to execute? And what do you want me to execute? Warning. Warning. What is it now? Another centipede. Oh no, definitely not. Detecting danger. The centipede before didn't have this size, nor this aura. Was this thing what destroyed Korea? He sees large claws emerging. Survival probability 0%. I don't care what this is. If you can execute that thing, do it now. Identity confirmed. Initiating emergency protocol. Qualification verified. Verification failed to execute. Salvation ineligible. Initiating forced execution. What do I do in this situation? Run? Is it even possible to run from this? Initiating final sequence. Approved. Qualification verified. Approved. The world is about to be destroyed. Last survivor. Shut up, you stupid robot, and get me out of here. Confirmed. Moving user to a random time. Sir, hey, sir, wake up. We see someone slapping him repeatedly. Then he grabs the hand of the person hitting him. Oh, he finally woke up. Sorry, boss. You weren't responding, so I had to resort to this. We'll take care of you, but don't move too quickly. I'll ask you, because you were very injured a while ago. Are you a hunter? You have a sword and all. What's happening? If the whole world was destroyed, where am I? And how did this woman get the old academy uniform? Sir, are you okay? Are you alright? Any concussion in your head? And why is there such an old computer here? Suddenly, he sees the calendar. What? 2024? He sees people arguing among themselves. Huh, Hyunwook, we don't have time to waste with you, sir. The protagonist stands up quickly. Of all the possible years, 2024, April 5th, 2024. He looks out the window and sees creatures outside. It's a horde of black buffaloes. The protagonist thinks, out of the 46 people in this building now, only 5 will come out alive. What is happening? Okay, I have some memories before losing consciousness. Bodies of people and monsters everywhere. Jiun and my dad dead. And a very suspicious item that appeared when the centipede disappeared. Did I really return to the past? I remember publishing a paper on a dungeon break during my undergrad, way before the magical measurement device was invented, back when they were measured manually. As long as it was in the middle of its cycle, it would be well mapped, but they're still completely unpredictable. One that seemed calm yesterday could explode today. The management guild didn't want to miss the opportunity of an S-rank dungeon, so they falsely reported it as a B rank, and the news of it breaking only came after the first wave of chaos. The students from academies and universities who wanted to become hunters tried to help the nearby civilians, but there's no way only students could handle a dungeon break. The only survivors were 2 hunters and 3 civilians. This was a huge setback for a new method developed to make hunters, but at least in the meantime, it formed several hunters. Okay, I have GN's sword, so if I can use it well, I can get out of this situation. How long has it been since the dungeon broke? Aren't you from the hunter school? You should know this. Actually, we were learning about this today. Then you'll learn better. When did the dungeon break? Approximately 4 hours ago. I don't want approximately. I want the exact number. We're dealing with dungeons. It was 3:50, sir. Contact someone outside. We lost communication 2 hours ago. The last news we received was that adventurers had gathered to defeat the dungeon boss. The protagonist thinks his father was in that team to defeat the boss and felt terrible for going to kill the boss instead of protecting the children who ended up dying. But this time, it won't happen again. No offense, but who are you? How can we trust someone we don't even know? Do you have a hunter's license? If so, please show it. I lost it. The protagonist thinks he has the license in his wallet, but how can he pull out a license dated 2031? The guy feels awkward because the protagonist said he lost the license. Oh, but now that I think about it, I don't have any form of ID. Even if I get out of this situation, I won't be able to enter the dungeon. I just need to prove I'm a hunter, right? He uses his ability on the floor of the room, creating a beautiful blue flame. Okay, I believe you. You're a hunter. Then someone starts talking about the guy appearing on the screen. Apparently, he's Diane's precious son. They ask, why hasn't Diane come to get him yet? Even the protagonist thinks about this. The youngest son of Diane, who owns one of the world's largest conglomerates. So, do you have a plan to survive? They pampered this Seunjon so much that after his death in the other timeline, they helped maintain the hunter school. They even created the skills management agency and promoted my father to director. So, what will happen if he gets out of here alive? If I have no identity and seem even a bit suspicious, I can become a hero that no one can criticize. Of course, I have a plan. Let's go to the city hall. And he thinks, with this plan, I'll be able to weaken Seunjon and create a scenario where I save him from danger. The city hall? Are you crazy? Do you know how far the city hall is from here? He's not happy with the old man and thinks, experiencing something I've only seen in records is really invigorating, isn't it? Some witnesses said they didn't hear the students just because they were younger and might have died because of this ignorance. Do you want to die or something? Are you provoking me? Hunter, shut up. Sir, to be honest, even saving myself won't be easy in this situation, but I can't leave all these children behind. So, let's go. Students, are you with me? But if you want to leave on your own, I won't stop you. We can't leave people behind. And you, are you hearing this? I'm doing my best to save even people like you, old man. So, if you don't want to stay, you can leave. Oh, no, that's not it. I need a map. Does anyone know this area well? I draw relatively well. With the map already drawn, he grabs a pen and starts making the plan. We are here at this point, and here is where the dungeon is. Since the people started going after the dungeon boss, the big minotaur probably went towards the mountains. A minotaur? Isn't that an S-rank monster? And it's this close to us? The buffaloes probably followed their boss to the mountain, so there should only be a few monsters that got separated on the way. And do you know what this means? Isn't this the other part of the blockade? right? They said they were going to create a defense line to contain the monsters and prevent them from going anywhere. Yes, that's correct. And the city hall is a few blocks from here. We just need to get there to enter this defense line and survive. Then why don't we just sit here and wait? If the boss is defeated, the dungeon break will end, won't it? The Minotaur is a dictator. If he commands his buffaloes to gather, they will gather. If he commands them to hunt, they will hunt. And it's the same for eating. And if the boss disappears, what do you think they'll do? Turn around and go back to the dungeon. Does anyone disagree with my plan? Everyone stays silent after that. Okay, great. Is there any mage here who knows how to draw runes? In the next scene, they are already drawing runes on the other students' foreheads. Monsters are sensitive to mana, so they will come after you. So draw these runes very well. Ah, these runes really hide our mana. I've never heard of this. The protagonist thinks, considering the current time we're in, this is really impressive. But after the runes were better developed, this became very common. This rune, when it's on your head, hides your mana that's connected to you, but it doesn't hide any magic that's being cast. Do you know how to activate the rune? Yes, you fill your hand with mana and touch the rune. When I lift my finger, it activates immediately. He thinks, I'll put less mana in Seunjoon's rune, all to stage him saving the kid. My goodness, I'm so manipulative. Now, I'll go out, attract the monsters, and keep them running around the neighborhood. When I pass by here the second time, you all run. Then I'll lead them away and catch up with you later. Okay, time to go. And he jumps into the middle of the Minotaurs with his sword. For this occasion, I really needed a red cape like a matador, right? As the students and staff leave the school to wait for him to pass by again so they can run. The girl with the rune says, who is this guy, huh? And why is he so worried about us now? Besides, he knows about the dungeon boss. Could he be one of the hunters assigned to kill it? Maybe, but it's strange. He knows a lot of specific information. Maybe he tripped while climbing the mountain. Who knows? And you think he'd be weak like that, tripping and passing out? Man, it's a Minotaur. Anyway, we can only trust him now. He single-handedly managed to drive that whole herd of Minotaurs away from here. Is that right? Ah, have you all finished your preparations? Yes, soon we'll run with everything we've got. Be careful, everyone, and run for your lives. We need to stay alive over there, everyone. Right there. He's coming with a herd, and we see several Minotaurs chasing him. But since his mana is hidden, he managed to infiltrate the middle of the Minotaurs. Then, he uses his abilities to confuse the Minotaurs and gives the signal for the students to run. That's our cue. Let's go. Martial arts hunters usually lead. Mages use shields, and civilians' job is to run for their lives. While Seunjoon is a bit distracted, walking with the other students, a Minotaur approaches him and starts sniffing him. And, of course, as our protagonist Hwe planned, he appears just in time to save Shinji. Wow, what a coincidence. Huh. Ah, sir, run. Get out of here now. Ah, sir, I told you to run. Now the Minotaurs notice our protagonist, Hwe. Luckily, he manages to elude them by climbing a building. Where are all these Minotaurs coming from? It's really annoying to get out of here. Well, I did gather them, but still, up until now, everything that happened, I spread my mana on the ground to gather them on purpose. Then, I took some of the mana from Seunjoon's rune so he'd be in danger, and just before he was attacked, I managed to save him. I staged a sacrifice scene to create a new hero, and in the end, I saved all the students. It's perfect. So, now that my plan is complete, what do I do next? If I traveled 10 years into the past, is the Hwe from 10 years ago here too? I just remembered a movie with this premise, but I hope I don't follow its plot. You can see he clearly remembers Back to the Future, and that suspicious item also told me something about this, that this world here is destined to go down the drain. It's probably related to the Bangi Dong dungeon. Oh, right, the Bangi Dong dungeon. And what about my watch? Does it work? I think so, since it's powered by mana. Then he starts typing something and gets confused with the results of his search. I was wondering why I was brought to this exact day. Well, there's the answer. And the watch shows that it was on this exact day that the Bangi Dong dungeon appeared. So you're telling me I have to change the fate of this world? Right. Damn. Why did these cows suddenly start chasing us? Did they alert the others that we were here? Damn bullheads. They must be Namsen hunters. Well, there's no reason to intervene in this. The original boss will be defeated by this team anyway. And anyway, the director is there too. It seems they attack their own allies without even recognizing them. Well, it's great for us. The smaller ones are dying because of. So, focus on the boss. And we see that while he's talking and leading his group. He's dodging an attack from a Minotaur. The legendary adventurers of my time, all gathered here. This looks more like a mob. Okay, here we go. And someone uses plant magic to create several roots to entangle the Minotaurs. Look, it seems to be Keeman, her unique ability. This skill was completely lost after she died. She was the only one. It's an honor to see her with my own eyes. Thinking about it, when did she die? If I can save a historical figure like her, it would be a great help in the final battle. Let's think for a bit. The difficulty level of the Bangi Dong dungeon hasn't changed in 20 years. hunters. Considering the monster inside, not even 2S rank hunters could handle it. Maybe that's why the future can be changed if I save figures like them, just like the model students I just saved. First, I need to close the Bangi Dong dungeon. Then, I need to find where that being who set everything on fire is hiding. It's not a bad plan, you know? If I rescue them and take credit for it, I might get a lifetime pension. Meanwhile, the team is fighting as Kimin traps the minotaurs with roots. Director Hong Seok-yeong is there slicing off limbs with his spear, eliminating vines. The minotaur is completely covered by these vines and roots, and as they tighten, blood oozes out. But it wasn't effective enough to take him down. He gets even angrier. Then he grabs his hammer again and tries to hit them. It's time to head to the city hall. Mr. Hong cut his other leg. Understood. As she conjures the spell to trap the creature again, another team member positions behind and pulls the vines tight, immobilizing the minotaur. And then Hong pierces the creature with his spear, causing it to fall. Damn it. And the creature falls right towards our protagonist. Hwee. Damn it. Then Hong notices something. What? A person? Is that a civilian? No, I don't think so. He's armed. So, our protagonist, Hwee, finishes off the creature using his blue flames. Everyone is shocked by his power, and the minotaur is completely scorched. Good job, everyone. You seem busy, so don't mind me, okay? Who is this guy? Oh, are you talking to me? I'm just passing through, he said, holding a flaming sword. In the next scene, our protagonist is being interrogated. Obviously, they wouldn't just let him go after finishing off the monster, right? It drew some attention. Thank goodness. Sir, are you sure you want to interrogate him yourself? We confiscated his weapon, but this man has no social security number, no phone number, and we couldn't get his fingerprints. Oh, it's fine. I just have a few questions for him. All right, then be careful, Hunter Hong. They stare at each other in silence for a moment. I turned off the camera in this room on the way here, so we can talk freely. Let's start by introducing ourselves, shall we? My name is Hong Seok-yeong. Seeing the agency director so young like this now, I'm sure I've gone back in time. So, in this timeline, will he find me in a year and adopt me in 10 years? My name is Hwee. Okay, Hwee, do you know what this is? He shows a partially torn paper. Hwee thinks, that's the drawing that covers the wall of the lab where I was. And, naturally, he shows a surprised expression, and Hong notices this and says, huh, just as I suspected. Oops, don't be so nervous. As I said, we're just talking. We were very worried about you. Oh, sorry. Do you know me? If everything goes according to plan, we should have met under slightly better circumstances. Anyway, you arrived safely, just as I heard. The blue mana, the fire. I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm the professor that Kim mentioned. He's confusing me with the guy who reported the lab. I got worried because we lost contact right after what happened with Kim. It seems his informant also died in all this, and we agreed to help with the escape. I'll do everything I can to catch those guys, and I've also prepared your identification here. They were so worried about the situation unfolding in Yeondeungpo that they didn't pay attention to the new hunter who suddenly appeared. I only know your name is Hwee, so I'll give you a temporary last name. Ah, that's good. Him thinking I'm an informant makes sense, because that way I don't have to keep making excuses for why I don't have any documents. But I can't be in a hurry. I know the director still doesn't trust me. Can I keep calling you just Hwee then? Yes, of course you can, he thinks. But I am also from the lab and an informant, so this story works perfectly for me. You'll be working for me for a while, under surveillance. I don't trust you enough to let you roam free. That's fine. I'm looking forward to working with you. He extends his hand to shake. In the end, I ended up working for the director again, just like in the other timeline. In this reality, he's not a director or my father, but we're still together in this. And he shakes Hong's hand. In the next scene, it's already a week later. Hey, how's it been for you? Is everything okay? How can I be okay when I've been stuck in this place for a week? But it's visitation day. Isn't that good? Well, I'm being treated like a prisoner. I even have an ankle monitor. You shouldn't be so negative. Look on the bright side. You managed to escape the police, and now you're free. And you said you have a lot to do, right? No, sir. The one with a lot to do is you, sir. Ah, call me uncle or something. Remember the 5 children you saved in Inwang? They were my students. The protagonist thinks. I'm sure he already knew this information for a long time. So, does that mean I passed his test? I heard that you led the minotaurs away, and that the students only managed to escape because of you. If it had been otherwise, well, the damage would have been irreversible. I don't know where so many cows came from, but what matters in the end is the result. The children are safe, thanks to you. The protagonist feels proud. Ah, I didn't do anything. So, I thought of this. I know the skill level of my students is the best. It would have been difficult even if you had only rescued them. But you saved the civilians too. Everyone in that building would be dead if it weren't for you. All my students were begging me to find you. So, I felt the need to, well, repay you for what you did. So, I decided to give you this. The protagonist thinks, why is he thinking so much? Just give it to me. And he puts a paper on the table. If you follow me through the dungeons, you'll be very visible, very exposed. first. But if you work as a teacher, well, that will help conceal you. So, you want me to teach your children? The protagonist starts reflecting on everything he's hearing, just looking at how the director acted with his agency in the other timeline. It already shows how strong the bonds are between master and disciple. There are many students in the academies who regard Hong as their teacher, as their master, and the people who later joined Hong's agency did so because they had a bond with him. If I create a good relationship with these students, they can secure my future after I save the world. But it would be very stupid in this conversation to reveal my plans for the future. In short, the protagonist's goal is to retire. That's it. The whole story revolves around the protagonist wanting to retire rich. But how do you want me to train those children? I can't even use mana because of this ankle monitor. If it's just teaching them how to fight, you'd be the best candidate, sir. I mean, uncle, you'd be the best candidate, uncle. For me, it's easy to teach how to fight. The problem is with magic. So, remembering those mana hiding runes, was it you who made them? The protagonist is left speechless, thinking, this is why I should have kept quiet. So, you want me to teach them about runes? Actually, it doesn't matter much if you made the runes or not. You just need to know more about runes than I do. I thought I was going to teach the students about dungeons or something like that, but I guess it would be a bit suspicious for someone who just came out of an isolated illegal organization to know about that. But first of all, runes are not magic, but they will be very useful for the children. But I'm not suitable for teaching. No, you're not good. You're perfect for the job. I'm sure of it. The protagonist thinks, should I say that I created and patented the runes? Even if I don't patent them, I can save countless lives by sharing my knowledge. I can't personally save every hunter, but if the public knows about the runes, well, anyway, you're the one who's going to teach them, okay? But I'm doing this for the kids, alright? Yes, of course. I know. I was just finalizing the copies of your documents and bank account. I'll send them to you shortly. It's called a school, but it's managed with my own money, so you'll practically be a member of my guild. Since you won't be participating in any dungeon raids, there's not much else you can do. So, basically, it will be a minimum wage. The protagonist is completely shocked by what he just read in the contract. And you'll only receive 90% of your salary for the first 3 months, alright? It will be a probationary period. Plus, there are no holidays, since there are only 5 people working at most during the holidays. But sometimes, during the holidays, the kids might call us to train and we have to go. The protagonist, holding the contract, is very irritated. This guy just scammed me. He tricked me live right here. 2 days later, this sword of yours is really good, honestly. And it also recognizes its owner. It sent several people to the hospital. It's yours, right? It belongs to someone I know. Did you steal it? No, I'd be burned along with it. That's true. He thinks, this sword really hates me, but I think it knows it was given to me before Yu Jiun died. You're not mad because I didn't give it back to you, are you? Even if you gave it back to me, I wouldn't be able to use it at 100%. That's because I still have the mana restriction device. So, are you mad? No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Our school doesn't allow blades, so I can't use it either. It's not like your class needs a sword anyway, right? You know you can just say you don't want a suspicious guy with a sword near your student, right? My god, why are you so stubborn? The protagonist thinks. He didn't deny it, but when he looks out the car window, he sees something that leaves him startled. Are we going that way? The protagonist thinks. I thought the area around the school would be urban, not rural. Where is he taking me? Relax, because the area is restricted to construction, as there are some dungeons nearby. Oh, okay. That makes it perfect for training our students. We're here. Is this really a school? A bit shabby. Huh. Yeah, I know. The protagonist thinks. Shabby. There's nothing here. The buildings will start being constructed next year. This is temporary. I have to teach them for a year. The journey has to start somewhere. Mr. H. Wei, welcome to the Hunter Academy. Attention, everyone. This is Mr. H. Wei, and he's going to teach you about runes. I know you already know him, but be respectful, okay? Teacher, over here, here. The guy in front raises his hand slightly, and the teacher responds, but didn't this guy use a sword instead of magic? You don't need to know magic to use runes. Are we going to learn mana hiding runes or new ones? The new ones will be a big help to you, so you better not sleep during the lessons, okay? Sounds pretty cool, but can he really teach us that? Why are you questioning? Do you want to learn or not? I do. Runes are really cool. Here, teacher, here, professor. Can only mages participate? No, but there are only 2 students here who can draw the runes. However, our school is quite flexible, so you can join the class without any problems. Then, one of the students finally speaks up. Hey, professor, aren't you the guy from the incident? Why did you leave us behind? We were really worried. Yeah, we were really concerned about you. I asked the teacher, but he didn't tell us anything. We thought something bad had happened to you. Are you sure you're okay, sir? Hui feels warmth in his heart. It seems they were genuinely worried about me. They are so different from the hunters we will have in 20 years. There was an adventurer who got stabbed inside a dungeon and died 20 years from now, and I'm starting to think it might be one of these guys here. He sees something that shocks him. What's happening with the rune? Was it like this the last time I saw it? It's only been 10 days since the incident. Has she suddenly become the witch I always knew? Flashback to April 5th, 2024. Seoyeon, take a look at this rune I drew. It might need to be a little longer. Oh, yes, sure. You're so demanding, but it seems so easy for you. My grandfather taught me to do it since I was young, so we can take turns with people. How about that? Aren't you tired? You've already done a lot. Relax. I have more experience with magic. Don't pressure yourself too much because we'll need your shield later. Remember. But she remembers that the rune on Sunjoon didn't work properly. This was the protagonist's fault. But people started talking badly about her, saying her rune didn't work specifically on Sunjoon. And the phrase, arrogance ruins everything kept echoing in her mind. She became more nervous and anxious each passing day. Flash forward a bit to the other timeline. At the Skills Management Agency, we see Park Seoyeon, who is as well as ever, which is strange and even repels people around her. Ah, Seoyeon, what are you doing? Hyunwoo, hi, are you waiting for me? No, please get out of the way. I didn't call you two just to chat. And who are you? Nice to meet you. By the way, I'm Hwee. Pleasure. The principal advisor for dungeon management and dungeon raids. Where are you from? My job is to support the agency director and assess the safety of all existing dungeons in Korea, as well as support hunters when raiding these dungeons. What on earth are you talking about? Oh, I work at the director's agency. Back to the present. For now, you'll stay here at the inn and don't complain, because I live here too. I'm just happy not to be inside a container. Have a good night. Then, when I was a kid, I used to wonder why I had to learn this kind of thing. He unlocks the ankle monitor, but the director is always right, isn't he? You need to know about technology. He starts using his mana watch now that his mana is free again. What should I look up first? He searches first for Park Seoyeon. No, I know all these results. I want to know what changed in her personality. What is this? My god, even the format of this is a mess. What do they use to hydrate during their lessons? Blood and tears? He's talking about some things related to Park Seoyeon. Number 1, don't praise her magic. She doesn't like it. That's why she smiled every time I clapped for her. Number 2, if she's not smiling, you're in danger. Number 2.1, in case of emergency, call for Yoo Jian or Hyunwoo. Number 3, never ever mention Myeongdong. For context, Myeongdong is where the accident happened, but in the other timeline, everyone died. So it was an incident that changed her personality. I saw that back then. There were no intact bodies, so it makes sense. But this time I saved everyone, didn't I? Why is she like this? My god. Okay, never mind that. But then he sees something written by the director, dated 2025. Scene, the next day. There's our protagonist in the middle of the brush with a lake. Why did this guy bring me here so early in the morning? Oh, hello? There's nothing to do here. Well, I want my future to be like this. Mr. Hwee, I can't believe we're going to build another building here. Should I give up? I only have 20 years ahead of me. I think I can survive with the knowledge I have. Mr. Hwee, in the end, I just need to survive, right? Mr. Hwee, what are you reflecting on so much, sir? Sunjoon, you scared me. Yes, that's me. Do you remember me? Of course I remember you. Mr. Hwee, where's your sword? My aunt got a bit curious after hearing about you, because she uses a sword too. Not to brag, but she's a pretty famous hunter. So the person he must be talking about is the youngest daughter of the president of the Daein group and the master of the Daein guild. Her name is Lee Miseon, a hunter known for being very strong and having very powerful abilities. Considering how much she likes Sunjoon, my future seems secure. And she said she wants to meet you, sir. Mr. Hwee, come over here for a moment. Damn it. He ruined my perfect chance. This guy is no help at all. I'm coming. What's up? Well, I'm setting up your class. My class? In this little room here? Yeah, we were using it as storage. Don't worry, we'll clean it. The protagonist thinks that means you'll never clean it. You need to do something about Park Seoyeon. What exactly? She seems very different since the last time I saw her in Myeongdong. That's true. She suddenly changed a lot. Every hunter faces a barrier from time to time. Seoyeon has already awakened a while ago, so it was about time. What's up? Are you worried about the students now? He looks a bit embarrassed. This guy has no hope of changing. He is very confident, physically and mentally. He can't understand that. For other people, problems aren't faced the same way he faces them. The fact that you can't get back up after a problem is incomprehensible to him. Modern strategies for raiding dungeons changed after the re-evaluation of runes. Runes were neglected for a long time due to some fatal incidents. But after a French archmage developed the mana hiding rune, everything changed. Ignoring the imperfections of runes, all mages learned runes, and by the mid-2040s, all hunters were required to know how to draw runes. But at this point where we are today, runes are exclusive to mages. So, as I was saying, we need to create a way for mana to. Hey, come on, why did you stop talking? Man, you never shut up. Director. And if runes are only for mages, why is this class so full anyway? Are you practicing runes? Today we will evaluate your level. Choi, did you miss that part of the class again? Yeah, the runes don't activate if there's a problem, even with the margin of error. Ah, they will activate. Choi, ah, yes, I'm sure they will. Do you at least know why runes weren't used in the past? That's because magic is more convenient than runes. That answer doesn't make sense. The protagonist thinks. It hasn't even been a year since he awakened. That must have been a pretty difficult question for him. When we go back to Park Seoyeon, she is breaking a pencil with her teeth. Ah, Seoyeon, why doesn't anyone find this weird? Do people think this is normal? Yes, Professor. Can you answer this question? Why weren't runes used much in the past? That's not stylish at all. She's completely lost it. Because runes are erased very easily. Exactly. Especially inside dungeons where the mana in the air is all distorted. So, how do we compensate for that? As you know, I'm not a mage, so don't bother asking me the principles behind all this that I'm about to explain. Just memorize what I'm going to tell you. Durability, correction, water resistance, amplification, and resonance. He draws a beautiful symbol, a very pretty rune, on the board. Professor, how do you want us to memorize this? This combination of factors makes the runes much more resistant to being easily erased. If the first rune is poorly drawn, it won't activate. So, be precise. Professor, why didn't you teach us this back in Myeongdong? I ended up drawing the first rune a bit wrong, so it didn't activate. I mean, even if I had known this, it wouldn't have made much sense. The protagonist finally realizes, is it because of the weakened rune I made that she ended up like this? Being a hunter means battling yourself. Whether you win or lose a battle is entirely your own problem. But even with these terrible working conditions and the incident in Myeongdong, Seoyeon managed to become an archmage. So, technically, it's not my fault. And I did it again. It must be right this time. Right. Professor, did I do it wrong? I messed up again. I can't mess up. I can't mess up. I can't mess up. I need to focus. I can't have to do it again. He claps his hands to wake everyone up. Lunchtime. Let's eat. Then we'll come back. I know it's not my fault, but as an adult and as a teacher, it's my responsibility. And that's it for today's story. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I kindly ask, if you have any high points, please hype the video. And today's question, for those who answer correctly, will get a heart. What was the year when everyone died and there was global destruction? That's all for today. See you next time. Bye.